I'm Ashton Addison from BlockWest Capital for InvestmentPitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have John Poller, the founder of ETHDenver. John, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm excited. So much going on in the Ethereum ecosystem. So many people want to get together and speak about these things. And I know that ETHDenver is the place to do so. And it's coming up in the near future here. And I would love for you to just kick us off by just telling us about ETHDenver and what makes it so special.
So the main difference between whether you say ETHDenver or ETHDenver, by the way, it's fine. It's potato around here, but you'll hear me say ETHDenver a lot. So whichever works for you. ETHDenver was spawned out of the meetup scene, and the original reason for it was we had in the summer of 17, something like 300 people showing up to our meetups with a wait list in addition. So there's like a ton of interest in dApps and this new technology, blockchains. And specifically Ethereum was piquing the interest of a lot of people here in the community. And after a while, though, myself personally, I was sort of bored with the meetup format of backslaps, beer, and, talkie, not a lot of walkie. So yeah. I approached the meetup organizers who I knew at the time for a while. And I was like, hey, we should do like a hackathon, like to, actually build some things. And they're like, oh, we already tried that once. And, nobody came and all this. I'm like, what do you mean nobody came? I was like, there's like a gazillion people here. I'm not just talking about like local. There's always been a lot of talk about Colorado, being showcased as this destination of choice for emerging technology, capital investments, startup scene. And I don't know. I mean, it's never really come into its own. So I just said, look, like, why, if we're going to do it, why not? Why not be us? And like, why not, let's create something cool. So the goal in 2017 was to have our first installation in February 2018, which we did. And we wanted to have 300-400 people. We thought would be a cool number. Mostly because ETH Waterloo, which was the first one ever to be done, had 400 people. So we're like 401 people just to be the biggest, right? It was sort of a silly metric at the time, but like, but whatever. It was interesting. So anyway, 1,500 people later, we had hosted the biggest Ethereum hackathon ever. And, some of it was our timing was right. Some of it was just market based. Some of it was geocentric. Like Colorado's really easy to get to. People like it here. So, visiting Colorado isn't something that we have to twist a lot of arms on. And then the international community really grabbed hold. So in 4 installations, we've had, about 40,000 people from 104 countries attend either in person or virtually. Even during the pandemic, we had 31,000 people from like 90 countries participate. So it's really kind of come into its own. The name ETHDenver doesn't really describe what it is. In comparison to most other events or conferences, if you will, we don't prefer the conference moniker because we don't think it really gives justice to what it is that we do. Because the Buidlathon, the meme Biddle was actually started at ETHDenver in 2018. The Buidlathon is the main event. So most other conferences who host a hackathon, it's sort of afterthought. It's like after the conference or whatever. Ours is the main event. It's the reason for getting together. So we're the only ones in the world of our size that do that. So there are usually just hackathon events and then usually just conference events, but you don't see much hybrid. So we also layer in things like maker spaces and art galleries. We were the first folks to do a crypto art gallery in 2018. We were the first people doing NFTs. We were the first people doing scavenger hunts for NFTs. We were the first people doing crypto-enabled food truck purchases. We were the first people doing a bunch of stuff. Like, so we're known for doing like a lot of dog fooding and, tech experiences for attendees. So it's very I would say experiential, which is why we call it a community innovation festival and not just a build-a-thon and not just a conference, right? It's something completely different. There's a reason why we've got almost 12,000 people that have applied to come, and that's because the experience of ETH Denver is unlike anything else you can find. Mm-hmm. And there's a huge pent-up demand for getting together in person based on just the pandemic, right? A lot of people have been holed up in their places for 2 years now, and the last time they got together was ETH Denver 2020, right? So they're like, man, I got to get back to this. So I've never seen anything quite as accentuated as the FOMO that we're seeing right now. I've never seen it. But it seems to be very good FOMO, not just, like, hey, I don't want to miss out on this, but like, hey, I really want to come build. Because that's really what we encourage, the little, pro tip is if you're trying to get into ETH Denver, come hack. Mm-hmm. Come hack. Not everybody wants to hack, but the priority is on builders. So anyway,
yeah,
hopefully that gives you a good idea.
Yeah, definitely, John. Yeah, thank you for all the backstory, and it's amazing to hear even back in 2018, expecting just to be a little bit larger, and it's exploded, and now practically 5 years later, it's gigantic. And I think 2021 was probably a big turning point for getting more people involved that aren't necessarily devs as well. I think the NFT space really helped, and DeFi, yield farming on Ethereum has brought a lot more eyes into, hey, what can Ethereum actually do for me as well?
Yeah, no, for sure. So on that track, we've had this knack for predicting sort of the narrative. So a lot of people look to ETH Denver as sort of the alpha drop, right? I'm like, what's going to happen this year? It's the first big event on the calendar. Certainly as far as like building communities go, like we have 9 layer ones coming. So it's not just ETH related, it's mm-hmm. building the decentralized future. So whether you're Harmony or Celo or Near or Ethereum or even folks from Solana, like there's people from everywhere that are coming to this. And so in 2019, we called it the year of DeFi. So a lot of our content and such was like organized around DeFi topics. And summer of 2020, we were a little late or early, excuse me. We were 1 year early. In 2020, it was the year of the DAO. Mm-hmm. We called it the year of the DAO 2 years ago. And I kind of take a mulligan on the pandemic for 2020. So like we're a year late. Or early, excuse me. I keep saying it. We're a year early. So, and then you look at 2022, and we're calling it the year of mass adoption, mainstream adoption. And 21, we actually called the year of the creator economy. So we capturing NFTs and Metaverse and stuff like that. And we were spot on with that one, actually. So this year we're calling it, as I mentioned, the year of mainstream adoption. And we think this is the year that a combination of things like NFTs, DeFi, gaming, and other sort of like mass adoption tools are really going to take traction. I mean, we've already seen the silly attempt of corporations to sort of, co-opt the concept of the metaverse and, certain memes like GM and all this other crypto stuff that we do, tokens, I mean, shoot, would I see Radio Shacks doing a token? Like, yeah. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a formidable year and a huge one when it comes to mass adoption. In fact, I do think that in part, the reason for our swelling attendance demand is because it's already happening, right? Mass adoption. We didn't even have that many people in 2018 to get 12,000 applications, I don't think, like where were we going to get that many people? Now it's just, it's going somewhat bananas.
Definitely. I agree. And you mentioned 12,000, which is incredible, but you were also talking about virtually. And I saw that there's like 30,000 plus people that are planning on attending virtually as well. That's incredible. And not everybody can get to Denver. Maybe you could remind us when exactly, how many days is it, and when can people start attending virtually and in person?
So we have a space actually called our virtual hub, sort of ironic in a way, but we have 6 stages that will be running concurrently during the main event. But then Biddle Week is sort of the umbrella for everything. So Biddle Week, ETHDenver, the main event, sits under Biddle Week. So Biddle Week is our version of Blockchain Week, but we named it to be more focused on building, creating versus just the conferencey format. Yeah. So what's happening in Denver is we've got a ton of co-working spaces that sponsors and other groups have put up to work together. We've got different workshops, parties, meetups, groups, events that are being hosted on an open source calendar through, you'll be able to find the calendar at ETHDenver.com. But there's a ton of stuff happening. We will be broadcasting the Hackathon kickoff on the 11th of February.
Amazing.
And there will be virtual content, technical workshops, and other things that people want to consume virtually, starting on the 11th, running up all the way to the main event. And the main event itself will also be live streamed virtually. So you'll be able to consume every piece of content that we have virtually. Well, not every piece, not every stage will be running concurrently live streamed, but most of them will. So anything of major note will be available for consumption online just as equally as in person. So the reason we did this is because we understand we have an ethos very squarely aligned with, low barriers to entry for education. So we do think that what's happening in the Ethereum and decentralized community, Web3, is very important. And a lot of people don't have access to it. They're not going to spend $500 to come to a conference to listen to a bunch of people talk about it. So we're just giving it away. We give it away for free. In fact, attendance at ETH Denver is free too. So there's no charge to attend. It's entirely community funded, and we plan on keeping it that way because ETH Denver has been and always will be a giant on-ramp for new people that want to come and build and want to come and be a participating voice in building this decentralized world. So it starts on the 11th, and then the main event kicks off really on the evening of the 17th is when opening ceremonies will be, and then it'll run through the weekend through the 20th. So again, all of it live streamed. You can even participate in the Buidlathon virtually. The virtual Buidlathon will extend past the 20th into the 3rd week of March. I think it's the 25th.
Wow.
And that's because we've got over $1 million of bounties and prizes plus $2 million of investment capital that we're handing out.
Wow. Amazing. And I was going to ask you about that as well with the Buidlathon. And for people that are not blockchain developers already, there's so many people still yet to become blockchain developers compared to regular developers that know traditional programming languages and people that are just interested in starting to develop or work with developers. Is that kind of content available for developers of all levels and entry?
Yes.
Virtually and in person?
Yes. As I mentioned, we're a big on-ramp for new people. So we have the best and brightest educators in the world. I mean, Austin Griffith's one of my favorite teachers when it comes to learning early tooling for Ethereum and smart contracts. He'll be there. We have a whole series of what we call Blockchain 101 content that will be produced and distributed to the community. You can already find a ton of it on our YouTube channel for free, right? So it's all these different technical workshops and things that have been done historically. But yeah, there's even more and new cutting edge things that are coming out, new tool sets, new things to help people get calibrated. Look, it's very intimidating, crypto, especially if you're sitting in sort of a Web 2 job and you're like, maybe let's say you're a developer and you're like, you got 8-10 years experience and you're like, man, this crypto is really calling me, like I really want to be a part of this, but I don't know where to start. Start at ETH Denver. Austin Griffith got his start at ETH Denver. He showed up at the 2018 installation in a suit and a bow tie. I remember. And he didn't know anybody in the space, and now he works with the Ethereum Foundation, and he's one of the highest regarded Ethereum educators and toolset creators in the world, right? And this, like I said, it's a big on-ramp for people to come and learn without high barriers and costs, right? I mean, the education that we're giving out would cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get it privately, and we're just giving it away. And the community is happy to do it. I mean, this effort has never been about making money. We raise a significant amount of funds, but we repurpose it to go back to build systems and mechanisms to support the community. I mean, we're a community-owned venture now through SporkDAO. So SporkDAO was launched in June of 2021. So like all of these efforts are directly designed to create circular benefit for the community. Just rinse and repeat. Just let's bring as many people as we can.
Very cool. I appreciate you taking all the time to explain this to us, John, and I'm looking forward to attending virtually. I won't be there in person this year, but I know that there's a huge wait list, so everyone is always welcome to attend virtually. For the people that are looking to get it in their calendars and get registered, what is the best way for them to get on that?
Yeah, go to ETHDenver.com and click on the apply button. And like I said, if you're really interested in attending, come and build, right? Like general attendance right now is going to be very difficult, but if you apply as a builder, we still have space there. And yeah, it's amazing how many people just want to come and hang out, which is fine. We don't say that you can't do that. But the whole point behind SporkDAO and accruing value back to the community is building, right? So that's the alpha drop on how to do that. And but then when you do that, don't just say you're going to do it. I mean, come and do it. Come build a team, find a team. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to meet people, lots of idea generation opportunities, icebreakers, all sorts of different things and vectors for people to get connected. So we also have our weekly live stream to keep up on sort of current events of the event that happens every Friday morning. I think it's 10 a.m. Mountain. So yeah, tune in and check it out.
Amazing. Great to know about that as well. I will leave a link to the YouTube channel, ETH Denver website, all of those links you mentioned in the description box below. Thank you so much for taking the time. All the best with Biddle Week and ETH Denver, and let's follow up in the near future.
Oh, thanks. One last thing. Don't forget, there's another thing that you're going to want to get, and that's your the Bufficorn Biddle Brigade PFP. So if you go to bufficornbiddlebrigade.com, you can still mint your PFP. These are utility PFPs that actually there will be private spaces, private parties, rare swag, other things that you'll be able to access only if you're a holder of one of these particular PFPs. So that's the Bufficorn. It's this guy right here, but it's the actual profile picture generative art project that there's 10,000 rare versions of them that you can get. So thanks a bunch for the time. I appreciate it.
Very cool. Thanks for that as well. All the best, John, and I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.